In every corner of the world, there are secrets. Stories that exist beyond logic, beyond reason. Stories that don't want to be understood, only experienced. Tonight, we return to those places. Places where space bends, where shadows are alive, and where darkness never truly ends. Welcome to Dynamic Dark. Welcome to a brand new horror episode. Welcome to episode 69. Welcome to season 2 of Dynamic Dark. I'm Aditya, and today I bring you 3 terrifying haunted stories. New stories. New week. New fear. In our last episode, episode 68, we explored haunted horror Indian tales that left many of you unsettled. That was the grand final of 2025 season 1. If you missed it, the link is in the description below. Make sure to check it out. And now, let's begin episode 69. If you are new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell if you dare to see what comes next. Tonight, we'll explore 3 chilling stories, each one more disturbing than the last. The first story is the open building. The second story is the field behind the town. And the third story is the terminal with no announcements. If you love horror like this, then you're in the right place. Because only on Dynamic Dark will you experience classic creepypasta style horror, blended with psychological fear and haunting, unexplained darkness. For the best experience, put on your earphones or headphones. Let the silence, the suspense, and the shadows consume you. And if your room lights are on, turn them off for a more cinematic and terrifying experience. Now, let's begin today's first story. The open building smiling face with holes. I first saw the building on the outskirts of the city. It wasn't old. It wasn't abandoned. Yet it was enormous. Farther than the eye could see. Taller than any building I had ever passed. Windows reflecting nothing but themselves, as if the building existed in its own separate world. The street leading to it was strangely quiet. No cars. No people. Only the distant hum of the city behind me. Even the birds seemed to avoid this place. A cold wind brushed past, carrying a faint smell of dust and something else. Something I couldn't name. I walked closer. The locals had warned me, no. Don't stay too long inside. Don't count the rooms. I laughed. It sounded hollow in the empty streets. Superstition, I told myself. Old tales to scare curious minds. But even as I laughed, I felt the unease crawling along my spine. The entrance doors were massive, automatic. They slid open with an almost too smooth motion, like the building itself was inviting me in. I paused for a moment, looking up at the ceiling of the entrance hall. It stretched higher than I could comprehend. The lights above were bright, white, almost sterile. And yet, they didn't make me feel safe. As I stepped inside, the echo of my footsteps sounded louder than it should, bouncing across the immense hall. The floors gleamed, polished to perfection, yet somehow cold. The air was heavier here, like I was breathing through invisible water. A subtle vibration beneath my feet, maybe my imagination, maybe something else. I walked slowly, exploring the lobby. Every window reflected me, yet sometimes, I could have sworn I saw a shadow that wasn't mine. I shook my head. Focus, no, I whispered to myself. It's just the reflection, your imagination. But then I noticed it. A figure, black as the void, standing far at the end of the hall. It didn't move. It didn't blink. Yet it felt aware. Watching. Waiting. I froze, every instinct in my body screaming to turn and leave. But something held me there. Curiosity? Fear? Both? The locals' words echoed in my mind again. Don't stay too long inside. Don't count the rooms. I laughed once more, though quieter this time. I wasn't sure if it was fear or foolish bravery that made me step forward. The hall seemed to stretch endlessly, more than a building should. Every corner revealed more glass, more polished floors, more emptiness. And still, the figure remained silent. A patient observer in the vastness of the building. I realized, no, this wasn't just a building. It was alive in a way I couldn't understand. And it was waiting. For me. The doors opened easily, sliding apart with a soft mechanical hum. I stepped inside, no. The air changed instantly. Cooler. Heavier. It wasn't just cold, it felt like the building itself was breathing, waiting, watching. The halls stretched endlessly. Polished floors reflected every light, every shadow, every step I took. The ceilings soared impossibly high, disappearing into darkness above. Even the bright fluorescent lights didn't make me feel safe. As I walked, the echo of my footsteps sounded too loud, bouncing across the vast hall. I felt small, insignificant. And then I saw it, a thick, black figure at the far end of the hall. Towering, shadowy, solid. It didn't move. It didn't blink. And yet, I could feel its awareness. Its eyes, even if invisible, piercing straight into me. I slowed my pace, trying to appear calm. The building seemed to stretch even farther with each step I took. Walls that were once around me now seemed to dissolve into more corridors, more polished floors, more darkness. Every light flickered slightly as I passed, casting strange elongated shadows. I could almost see the ghost shift subtly, just enough to remind me it was alive. I swallowed hard. No, my heart was pounding. Every instinct screamed turn back, run, but curiosity, morbid curiosity, held me in place. I noticed other reflections in the windows and mirrors along the hall. For a split second, the figure seemed closer, then vanished into shadow. Was it moving? Or was my mind playing tricks? The hall felt infinite. Each step forward was like walking into another dimension. I stopped in the middle of the hall, breath shallow, eyes locked on the thick black figure. It remained motionless, looming, menacing in its silence. Yet there was something almost patient about it. Like it had been waiting for me, observing me, learning me. I whispered to myself, no, hoping my voice wouldn't carry. It's just a figure, just a shadow, nothing real. But the moment I said it, I felt a presence brush against the back of my mind, a reminder that this building wasn't just walls and floors. It was alive. And the figure, it was the heart of that darkness. I took another step forward, my eyes never leaving it. And I knew, from here on, there was no turning back. I tried to ignore it. I told myself it was nothing. A security guard, maybe. Or a mannequin placed there for some strange reason. Buildings like this had all kinds of odd designs, right? But no matter how many excuses I made, something felt wrong. I walked a little faster. So did the figure. Not by moving, but by always remaining at the exact same distance from me. I slowed down. It didn't come closer. It didn't fall behind. It stayed perfectly aligned with my pace, as if the space between us was being calculated. I stopped walking. My footsteps echoed once, twice, then faded into silence. The figure stopped too. No delay. No adjustment. Perfect synchronization. My throat went dry. I turned slightly, pretending not to look directly at it. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw it remain completely still. Not shifting weight. Not breathing. Not reacting. That's when fear truly set in. No. I continued walking, forcing myself forward. The hallway stretched farther than before. What should have been a short corridor now felt endless. The lights above buzzed softly, flickering just enough to stretch the shadows unnaturally along the floor. Then I noticed something worse. At the next corner, there was another black silhouette. Identical. Same height. Same thick, shadowy form. Same unnatural stillness. I turned another corner. Another one appeared. Every hallway revealed a new figure. Every corridor reflected the same presence. They weren't moving. They weren't blocking my path. They were simply there, watching. I felt surrounded, even though none of them came close. Their presence pressed against my mind, heavy and suffocating. I could feel their attention like fingers crawling across my thoughts. I tried to count them. 1, 2, 3. I stopped myself instantly. The local's warning echoed in my head. Don't count the rooms. My breathing became shallow. The building felt tighter now, even though the halls were impossibly wide. Like I was inside something massive that was slowly becoming aware of me. I realized then. They weren't following me. They weren't chasing me. They were studying me. My movements. My reactions. My fear. Each step I took felt like permission. Each glance felt like confirmation. I whispered to myself, no, hoping the sound would ground me. Just keep walking. Don't react. Don't acknowledge them. But deep down, I knew the truth. This building wasn't testing my courage. It was testing my awareness. And the black silhouettes. They weren't guards. They weren't mannequins. They were observers. And I was the only thing worth watching. Hours passed. At least. I think they did. Time felt wrong inside the building. My phone screen stayed dark, refusing to turn on. The lights above never dimmed, never changed. There was no sunset. No night. Just the same cold white glow, endlessly repeating. I didn't see anyone else. No footsteps. No voices. No doors opening or closing. Nothing. The only sound was my own breathing. Slow at first, then uneven. Too loud in the silence. I walked from hallway to hallway, floor to floor. And no matter where I went, the black figures were still there. Always distant. Always spaced apart. One at the end of a hall. One near a stairwell. One standing beside an elevator that never arrived. They never came closer. They never followed. They simply remained. That's when I realized something. No. They weren't guarding the building. They weren't haunting it. They were testing me. Testing how long I could stay without breaking. Testing how long I could exist in silence. Testing how long I could remain aware without losing myself. I opened a door, hoping for something new. A way out. A change. But the room inside was familiar. Too familiar. The same desk. The same cracked wall. The same flickering light in the corner. I had already been there. I closed the door and walked away quickly, my heart pounding. I took another corridor, climbed a flight of stairs, forced myself upward. Another door. The same room again. Everything was repeating but not perfectly. Small details were wrong. The chair slightly closer to the wall. The crack in the ceiling longer than before. The building wasn't looping. It was adjusting. I felt a deep chill crawl through me. Not cold awareness. I was being measured. How fast I walked. How often I stopped. How long I stared at the silhouettes. Each decision felt recorded. Observed. Stored somewhere deep within the structure itself. The figures never reacted. But I felt their attention sharpen. The longer I stayed, the heavier the air became. Breathing felt like pushing against pressure. My thoughts slowed, stretching just like the hallways. That's when fear changed into something worse. Acceptance. They didn't need to rush. They didn't need to scare me. They had time. Endless time. And I finally understood the truth, no. This place didn't trap people by force. It trapped them by waiting. Waiting for exhaustion. Waiting for confusion. Waiting for the moment when escape stopped mattering. I shivered, standing alone in the middle of the vast floor, surrounded by distance and silence. Because I knew then. They were patient. And patience, in a place like this, was the most terrifying thing of all. I finally decided to confront one. Not because I was brave, but because the silence had become unbearable. I ran down the hall, my footsteps echoing louder than they should have. My voice breaking the stillness as I shouted into the empty space. Who are you? Why are you here? The figure at the end of the hallway didn't react. It didn't turn. It didn't flinch. It didn't even acknowledge that I existed. As I kept running, something changed. The hallway began to feel narrower. The walls slowly pulled inward, almost breathing. The lights above me dimmed one by one, not flickering but fading, as if the building itself was choosing where I was allowed to see. The air grew heavier with every step. It felt like the structure around me was alive. Not attacking me, but guiding me. My legs burned, my breath shortened, yet no matter how fast I ran, the distance never closed the way it should have. And then I reached the far end. I stopped. Because standing there, stretching along the wall, was not one figure, but many. A row of black silhouettes, perfectly aligned, evenly spaced, facing forward. They were taller up close, thicker. Their forms distorted, as if they didn't fully belong in our dimensions. No faces. No eyes. Yet I felt their attention lock onto me instantly. They weren't blocking my path. They weren't surrounding me. They were waiting. Waiting for something I hadn't done yet. The building fell completely silent. No hum of lights. No distant echoes. Just my breathing. And the unbearable awareness that every single one of them was observing me, no. Not to stop me. Not to chase me. But to see what I would do next. And in that moment, I understood something terrifying. This was never a place meant to scare people away. It was a place meant to see how long someone could stand before they finally understood. They were never meant to leave. I ran. Finally, I thought I had found the exit. The doors opened like normal, and I burst into the open hallway that seemed familiar. Sunlight, or at least some semblance of it, touched the floor, and I felt my chest rise with relief. I thought I had left it all behind. But as I paused to catch my breath, something felt wrong. The air was too quiet, too still. The exit hallway stretched farther than memory should allow. Every shadow seemed to cling to the edges of my vision. I tried to recall how I had moved through the building. How many floors had I climbed? How many hallways passed? I could not remember. I could not count the rooms. The sunlit walls now carried faint distortions, subtle flickers of shapes at the corners, impossible geometry that shouldn't exist. And then, I realized something truly terrifying. The black figures. They were still there. Watching. Waiting. Endless. I could feel them in my mind, not my eyes. Every step I took, every breath I drew, every heartbeat. It was being measured, recorded, claimed. I ran faster. The exit doors loomed, but the hall behind me seemed alive. Walls shifted subtly, narrowing, stretching. The polished floors reflected not just my figure, but countless silhouettes moving impossibly in rhythm, though no one was really there. No, I shivered. Because I knew. The building had claimed a piece of me forever. And no matter how far I ran, no matter how many doors I opened, the black observers would always remain. Patient. Silent. Endless. And in that final realization, a creeping sense of loss filled me. I had escaped the hallways. But the building's presence, the observing figures, and the endless counting of spaces, they would haunt me forever. I had heard whispers about the field behind the town for years. People said it stretched farther than anyone could see. No trees. No houses. No roads. Just endless grass under an open sky, the horizon bending unnaturally at the edges. Curiosity pulled me forward stronger than fear, Liam. The soft rustling of the grass under my feet felt alive, almost sentient, as if it knew I was walking there. The locals had warned me. If someone waves at you from the field, don't wave back. At first, I laughed. How could a field be dangerous? Yet, as I stepped further, a chill ran down my spine. There were no people, no sounds, just the wind whispering through the tall grass. But then I saw it. A figure, far in the distance. Tall, thin, silhouetted against the sky. Its arm raised in a slow, deliberate way. It didn't blink. It didn't move toward me. It just waved. My heart raced, Liam. I wanted to turn away, run back to the safety of town. Yet something invisible compelled me to look, to watch, to feel its presence. Seconds stretched into eternity. The figure remained there, swaying gently in the breeze, but somehow the horizon seemed to stretch further with each step I took. The field was endless, infinite, impossible. And I realized the warning was not a joke. There was something in that field, waiting, patient, and I had just caught its attention. The air grew heavier. My curiosity now mixed with fear. I had crossed the line, Liam, and I didn't yet know what consequences would follow. I stepped into the field. The moment I crossed its edge, something felt off. The field stretched wider than it should, taller than it seemed from the town. Every blade of grass whispered with the wind, moving as if alive. And then I saw it. A black figure in the distance. Perfectly still. Not waving. Not moving. Just watching. At first, I thought it might be a scarecrow or a person frozen in thought. But its outline was too tall, too narrow, edges blurred, like it didn't belong here. I froze. Even from that distance, I could feel its gaze, Liam. It wasn't looking at my body, it was studying me. Each breath I took, each step I considered, it observed patiently. Time stretched. Seconds became minutes. The figure never moved, yet the field itself seemed to warp subtly, folding the distance between us. The warning flashed in my mind. If someone waves at you from the field, don't wave back. I hadn't waved. I hadn't acknowledged it. And yet, I could feel its attention, heavy and patient, fixing itself on me. I realized the terrifying truth. It didn't need to approach. It didn't need to move. It had already noticed me. And once something like this starts watching, it never really looks away. I shivered, Liam, knowing I had crossed into its awareness. And the moment I entered the field, I had entered its domain. I remembered the warning. Clear, simple, absolute. Don't wave back. The words echoed in my head as I stood there, frozen between instinct and fear. The black figure in the distance did nothing. No movement. No gesture. Just presence. I didn't wave. Instead, I forced myself to walk forward. Each step felt wrong, not painful, but heavy, as if the ground itself resisted me. The grass brushed against my legs, colder than it should have been, whispering softly as I passed. I told myself it was just wind. I told myself the field was empty. But the silence disagreed. With every step, time seemed to stretch. Seconds dragged. Breaths felt longer. The distance behind me grew faster than the distance ahead. I glanced sideways. The figure was still there. Not closer. Not farther. Exactly the same distance. That's when I realized something terrifying. No matter how much I walked, I wasn't getting away from it. The grass began to change. Blades grew taller, brushing my waist now, then my chest. They bent toward me as I passed, as if watching, listening, learning my shape. I tried to focus on my breathing, Liam. In, out. But the field felt aware. Not alive in the way animals are. Alive in the way rules are silent, strict, unbreakable. I remembered more of the rumors then. Not the words, but the fear in the voices of the people who spoke them. They never said the field chases you. They said it waits. I resisted the urge to look back again. Some part of me knew that the moment I acknowledged the figure too much, it would acknowledge me back. My legs grew numb. The horizon ahead seemed farther than before, stretching unnaturally, as if the field was unfolding itself endlessly. And still, I felt watched. Not just by the figure anymore. By the grass. By the space between steps. by the silence that followed every sound I made. I shivered, Liam. Because I finally understood the truth. The field wasn't empty. It was full of attention. And I was the only thing worth observing. Hours must have passed. The sun had begun its slow descent, dipping lower behind the horizon. Shadows stretched unnaturally long across the grass, bending and twisting with the contours of the field. The black figure in the distance remained perfectly still, its faceless gaze fixed on me. I thought I was alone. I thought the field only had one observer. Then I noticed something. Other shapes. Distant silhouettes lined across the field. Some half hidden behind tall grass. Some standing just beyond the horizon. All black. All faceless. All watching silently. I stopped walking, Liam, my heart thundering in my chest. The wind whispered through the grass, carrying faint echoes of my own footsteps. As if the field itself remembered each one. The further I looked, the more figures appeared. They didn't move toward me. They didn't wave. They just observed. My legs felt weak. My breaths came in shallow bursts. Time no longer seemed normal. Minutes stretched like hours. I tried to walk, to put distance between myself and them. But the field had changed. The horizon folded. Paths that seemed clear moments ago now led me back to the same spot. And all the while, the black figures remained. Watching. Silent. Patient. I shivered, Liam, realizing the terrifying truth. This field wasn't just empty. It wasn't just a stretch of grass. It was alive with observation. And I was the only thing worth watching. Curiosity finally overcame me. For hours, I had obeyed the warning. I hadn't waved. I hadn't reacted. I had only walked and watched. But something inside me needed confirmation. Needed proof that this field was real, that they were real. So I raised my hand. Just slightly. Barely a wave. The nearest black figure reacted. Not suddenly. Not violently. It tilted its head. A slow, deliberate motion, calm, controlled, intentional. As if acknowledging my existence for the first time. The air changed instantly, Liam. The wind stopped. The grass froze mid-sway. Even the distant hum of insects vanished, leaving behind an unnatural silence. The field stretched. Not forward, but outward. Horizons peeled away like layers of reality being pulled apart. The path behind me blurred, fading as if it had never existed. I tried to turn back. My legs moved, but the distance didn't change. The black figures didn't approach. They didn't surround me. They stayed exactly where they were. Watching. Some tilted their heads slightly. Others remained perfectly still. Their presence felt heavier now, not threatening, but intentional. That's when I understood the truth. They weren't aggressive, Liam. They weren't predators. They were observers. Patient. Endless. Waiting to see who would break the rule. Waiting to see who would acknowledge them first. And the moment I waved, I had passed their test. Or failed it. I couldn't tell which was worse. I ran toward the edge of the field. The town finally appeared. I thought I had escaped. But that night, I could still feel their gaze. The field had grown in my memory. Endless, patient, waiting. Some places, Liam, never truly let you go. And the third story is the terminal with no announcements. I arrived at the terminal just before sunset. Enormous, modern, empty. No announcements, no staff, no passengers. The gates stretched endlessly. And I felt it, Oliver. The silence was watching me. I stepped inside. The lights worked perfectly. The floors gleamed endless. And then I saw them. Black silhouettes at every gate. Motionless. Silent. Even from afar, Oliver. I could feel them watching. I walked along the terminal, counting the gates. Gate 12. Gate 13. Gate 14. But every turn brought me back to the same place. The same lights. The same reflections. The black figures never moved. Never stepped closer. Yet their heads turned slowly as I passed. Following me. Every announcement board remained blank. No flights. No destinations. And then I heard it. A faint whisper through the speakers. My name. Oliver. Soft. Calm. As if someone or something already knew. I was here. Hours passed. The terminal never changed. No footsteps. No announcements. No sound except my own breathing. The black silhouettes remained. Aligned perfectly at every gate. Silent. Watching. I stopped walking. Even then, I felt observed. The lights hummed softly, like a heartbeat. The walls seemed closer now. That's when I understood, Oliver. The terminal wasn't just empty. It was alive. And it was watching every single move I made. I tried to call out. I tried to challenge them. My voice echoed and vanished. Nothing answered. I walked faster. Then faster still. But the terminal stretched endlessly ahead of me. The gates repeated. The lights never changed. And then I noticed something was. They weren't alone. Black figures appeared in the glass. Reflections in every panel. Every window. Every polished surface. Some stood where no body existed. Others stared back at me from impossible angels. I turned in circles, my breath shaking. They multiplied, surrounding me, watching from every direction at once. I froze, Oliver, because in that moment I understood the truth. I could run. I could scream. But I could never escape their watchful eyes. I finally found what I thought was the exit. The doors opened easily. Too easily. I ran outside into the cool night air, gasping for breath. The terminal stood behind me, silent, normal, lifeless. Lights steady. No figures. No movement. I told myself it was over. But later that night, lying in bed, eyes wide open, I felt it. That familiar pressure. That unmistakable awareness. I wasn't alone. I could still feel their gaze. Unblinking. Patient. And somewhere deep in my mind, I knew the truth, Oliver. The black silhouettes were still there. Standing at every gate. Watching. Not waiting for me to return. Waiting for the next person to arrive. Because some places don't trap your body. They keep a part of you forever. And they never truly release you. Black heart. So that was the end of episode 69 of Dynamic Dark. If these chilling tales and haunted stories made you shiver, tell us in the comments which story kept you awake tonight. The most terrifying comment. I, Aditya, will pin it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and enable notifications bell so you never miss our next descent into the unknown. And share this video with your friends and family if they can handle the fear. Have a haunted location, creepy encounter, or urban legend to share? Drop it in the comments. The idea with the most likes will be featured in our next episode. Episode 70 is coming soon, where we will dive deep into creepypasta horror stories, uncover darker mysteries, cursed places, and secrets that linger where the shadows never sleep. Stay tuned, keep watching, and dare to explore the terrifying unknown with Dynamic Dark every episode at 7:45 p.m.